Let your hand guide us, Lord. Just be with us, Lord. Continue to bless this city. God, continue to move this city forward. Lord, we just thank you for all that you're doing. And Lord, we thank you that fall weather is on the way. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilman Spawn.
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Are there visitors here this evening that would like to address the council that are not on the agenda? Minutes of the budget work session of September 6, 2022.
I move that we approve the budget session minutes from September 6, 2022. Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilwoman Morgan. Yes. Councilman Spawn.
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Minutes of the regular city council meeting of September 6, 2022.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting of September 6, 2022.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilman Spawn.
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilman Kowalski.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Councilman Spawn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. The first item on our agenda is a proclamation for Good Neighbor Week. Do we have someone here to accept this? No? Okay, we will not.
Good neighbors in the room.
No good neighbors here.
Uh-oh.
You need more than one to have a good neighbor.
Yeah. Agenda item number 2, consideration of resolution of support for local housing project.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. The city staff is pleased to bring to you tonight for your consideration support for an application for an affordable housing project by Tammy Creason with DHTC Development. Tammy is here this evening to share with us a little bit more about the program and what she is suggesting and asking for a resolution of support for. If the council should adopt this resolution of support, it will go into a packet later this week with an application for an affordable housing project. It comes at a pivotal time for us as we have at least one of our projects that is coming out of the affordable housing project. So we are looking forward to how we can continue offering a variety of housing projects for our community.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I can be as brief as you want me to be, but I do really want to take a moment to thank you guys for letting me be here. Your guys' staff is outstanding. I work with so many cities throughout the, honestly, Midwest, and when I get excited about a project, it's because it's not just sticks and bricks, it's not just housing, that it's in a community with a plan, that you guys are forward thinking and progressive in your grant writing and in your transportation and in your community center and just all of the exciting things that are happening with job creation and economic development. So I started this project a little bit late in the year. I normally submit 3 to 4 applications a year for affordable housing. I actually am a Excelsior Springs local. I live in Nixa, Missouri for the last 20 years, but my husband's family is from Excelsior and grew up here, and we call this our hometown. If you know a Creason, I'm sorry if you know someone, if you like them, then I'm just kidding. But it is something that's really special to my heart. This is the only job I've ever had as an affordable housing developer. And my very favorite project that I did was here in Excelsior, and that was in 2005 working on the Oaks apartments. Several years later, we came back and did Villas Downtown. So it's so much.
There's a picture of downtown.
Villas Downtown, which I to tout all over everywhere. It truly, it is so fun seeing the backside of that. When we're doing this 15 years ago, there's so many more questions and neighborhoods and how's that going to blend with downtown and what does affordable mean and what is low income, and so it's just such a pleasure to come back and see, you know, those projects now. I drive by them every time I'm home, which is a lot throughout the year, so I've been really blessed to get to watch those. We went and visited the Oaks the other day and talked to Sandy Ganser, who's a longtime family friend who's been there the entire 15 years managing that. And it's just such a testament to this program working. And it's really truly based on that I've built my entire 25-year career in this program. I genuinely believe in it. It's really important to me not to just do a project in a field that doesn't make sense, that isn't in any way supporting city initiatives. So we really did try to talk with staff about goals and objectives and where's your growth happening, where are your jobs at. I know they've got some really exciting things happening in different parts of town that I would love to come back and be a part of in a couple of years. But to Melinda's point, you know, it just dawned on me this summer while visiting that Oaks is coming out of service. and that to me means something because, you know, many people, we were talking earlier that, you know, have had parents that live there and family. I've got 4 or 5 family members that live downtown that it's their home. And so, you know, there's a lot of fear associated with what does that mean. So one of the things I wanted to say is, you know, this program anticipates that. So when we stood here 15 years ago, we said, you know, the goal, there was all this discussion about market rate housing downtown. Congratulations, you're getting ready to get it. And it's going to be a wonderful asset to your downtown to watch that transition over the next 3 years. But not everybody's going to be able to stay and afford those new market rate rents. And so now's the time to really anticipate replacing that. You know, it's a very, very, very competitive project with MHDC to do affordable housing, and that is how we are able to keep the rents affordable. So the proposal we're looking at tonight's 2 bedrooms. I'll show them to you in just a second. That, you know, we're talking about rents at like $600 a month for a 2-bedroom, 1-car garage. You know, universal design, new construction, high quality materials, and I mean, most of us know you cannot rent that in Excelsior. You know, it's twice that in many places. You know, I think Oaks is going to be looking at rents twice that as they start making that transition. So it is really important to be proactive, and I applaud you guys for taking the time to think about that for your community and for your residents. So I'd be submitting an application with your approval next, it's actually due at the end of this week. Those awards come out in December. It is a very competitive project. I usually tell councils that I commit to 2 years. You know, if I can't get it done this year, I'll take it back next year. But I will tell you, after talking with your city staff, I got so excited about this project. I've pulled all my other applications. I'm putting all my eggs and energy into this project because I really do think it's just coming at a really exceptional time with your other planning and projects that you guys are happening with jobs and roads and all the crazy things with the community center. So with that, I'm going to quickly tell you what we're talking about. I do not have to tell you what affordable housing looks like because you know. You can look out your window, you can look in any direction, and really that would be our commitment, is to really continue that quality. This is a very standard, typical product that we use. The flooring products in that are very typical of everything we do in our communities. That's a cement hardy siding, so you can see that it's aged, it's color fast, it's stood the test of time. So we would be looking at similar type products on this new project. Okay, let's flip through here real quick. So one of the things that we had talked about was, because we do have this really unique housing downtown, one of the products that we've found that most seniors are really, really, really desirable, and that I think would be really complementary to some universal design incentives that you guys are going to have coming before you in the next few weeks, is this single story. We call it a cottage style or a villa style. They're often fourplexes or duplexes, and that's designed around the project. But this would be a similar project that we did in Nixa, Missouri, that would be indicative of that row housing, again with the single car garage. Interiors, I will let you know that that is the interior of a house right across the street at Villas Downtown, and still very similar products that I use today because I think that they're durable, they're sustainable, they're green, and they're energy efficient. It's just another one of the houses. We do a couple color schemes just to give people a little bit of variety. So we looked at a lot of different locations of land, and where we've landed right now is at the corner of Tracy and 69. We're looking at that southeast corner across the street from the fire department. There's about 9+ acres there. We would be looking to utilize about probably 4 to 5 of those acres for the housing development. If we go down just a little bit further, I'm going to save you, and I can email this to you guys too, all of that. But here's the location, so you can see the fire station across the street. The property does have frontage on 69. But if we go down just a little bit lower, so one of the things that we talked about that I think I would like to be really conscientious about just as a developer and as a citizen, as a resident, because those people might know my family and they're going to get my phone number, is making sure that we're really considerate of the housing that is there. There are 5 single-family homes that are there. I think there's some multifamily back a little bit further, but there's also homes further to the south of that. So we really wanted to concentrate on doing that single story to kind of buffer in that single-story home so that we're not going in with a towering 3-story multifamily building or something that would maybe zoned appropriately, but really isn't practical for the neighbors there. And so we really going to concentrate on that just in this first phase, and then that gives us a little bit more opportunity to where if we wanted to expand with a multi-story or something else in the future, that we would kind of have a little bit of built-in buffer to protect those residents a little bit better. So we proposed 40 units for this. It would be targeted for seniors, which is 55 years of age and older, so very similar to the Oaks demographic. We think it would complement that very well with rents, targeted at that mid-range. We would be partnering with some local service providers, so that's something that's really important to us, that we're getting activities and nutrition programs and just fun things that are engaging in that. We did actually put this in as a mixed-use development, so it would be predominantly affordable, but we did do a few units that I would call low income, and then we did a few units that are market rate. So when we get done with this, we're going to have the bulk of the units be your average everyday person living in Excelsior that 90% of our parents would qualify for. But we've got a little bit of fringe on both ends for market rate and for some lower income that we would be able to give them some rental assistance to give them some of the same opportunities, so it becomes a really economically diverse opportunity that's really seamlessly integrated and kind of helps eliminate that stigma that we sometimes see at the end of them. But other than that, they're all proposed as 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We love doing the front door, back door with a patio and porch on the front and the back. Seniors love their plants. I love driving down and seeing the decorations and the holiday decorations and the tomatoes and flowers growing. And then one thing we would like to add is a garage. We think that's a really nice amenity for seniors, especially in a universal design that gives them a covered flat transition from car to kitchen. So we can scroll down a little bit. This is just a proposed elevation. One of the things that we're really committed to, very similar to the Villas Downtown, we worked really hard with a local architect to come up with something. Villas Downtown is actually designed after the original 1920s house that was the first house on Excelsior Street. And so that's something that has really always been a part of my history, even when I'm doing new construction. So if you scroll down just a little bit further, that is what actually was at that corner. And thanks to your wonderful local historian, Kathy sent me that picture. And it was Phillips Tavern. So that kind of inspired me, just with some of the colors. I think that was about the 30s, early 30s. Bonnie and Clyde stayed there right before they were shot and killed. I think somewhere close by. I don't know exactly where that happened. But so I love the golds and greens. Again, really reminiscent of the 20s architecture colonial that you'll see Villas Downtown. You've got Phillips Tavern there in the center. And so I would love to incorporate that. I think if you scroll down, I might have put a clubhouse elevation in there. So we'll play with this as we get a little bit further, but there was the barn, and then there's the little tavern. You can see like a little hanging wooden sign. So I would love to do a community center that kind of pays homage to that Phillips Tavern that was at that original location, which was also cottages. Yeah, so I think it'd be super fun. And all of that, MHTC doesn't care about that. It's elevation. We can make it look like a modern farmhouse. We can make it look like a 1930s colonial cottage. It's just all fun and just what we can come up with and just how creative we can be. I think that's honestly the majority of it. And I can email this presentation to you. A lot of the information is just on, you know, who's going to be living there, what's our screening criteria. Yes?
I have a question on that. Will you give the Oaks residents a priority
Yes.
to move there since
Yes.
their housing will be going up?
Yes. So one of the things that this program is really foundationally built on is that de-escalation and conversion period. So we would absolutely be working with them. Fair housing wise, you know, we have some limits and restrictions, but I can market to them before I market to anybody else. And so that'll be really helpful just to stay involved in the community and keep that communication open. Sandy actually babysat my husband, so she has me in her cell phone number. She knows how to get a hold of me. And we stay in communication anyway, so we would definitely be working with them. And I still am in very close contact with that developer that built those. It actually just sold to the nephew of one of the original developer. So Charlie Moline is the nephew of Tom Carlson, who was part of that original Gartner group that built that. And so I was very excited to see that happen. So often in that transition period, it sells to investors or different people. And so to keep it with somebody that I know is going to be committed to that and carry that on, I was really excited about. So yes, we've talked with them, and we would be sure to make sure and give that opportunity. And again, there may be opportunities. I don't know. I do not work for them. I really truly don't know what they're doing rent-wise. It's just word of mouth and communication of things that we're hearing. I think they're just beginning that transition. So it'll kind of be a little bit of an unfolding over the next 6 months or so as they kind of figure it out also, but we'll definitely stay in touch. So the rest of that information was really just on what the income limits are, what our rental criteria is, what our screening process is, and I can answer as many questions as you want, but my guess is you probably want to get home. So I am here. I am happy to go into as much detail as you want, but I wanted to at least just give you an idea of kind of where we were at, what we were looking at, and that we would submit it this week, and we would find out on those proposals in December. I'm going to put my whole heart into this, and I call it put a little Tammy sparkle on the application. It's a lot grant writing. It's a very competitive process. I have a really good established relationship with the agency. It does sometimes take 2 years, but letters of support is really important, and so that's why we're coming tonight to ask you for that. It's really important that MHTC is investing dollars in communities that want those dollars. If you know someone at the governor's office, feel free to call them and let them know how much you want this housing project. It is really competitive, but all in all, we would find something out in December. We would look to, if we were successful, break ground in probably spring, and we would go through a very traditional planning, zoning, it's actually zoned correctly, but planning review, all the things that we would do in any project, pulling building permits.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I understand affordable housing, I understand market rate, but give me your definition of when you said lower income.
So what
How
I
does that
do,
fit into the mix?
so we are setting that, and I want to be super clear, there's like 3 units set aside for that are people at 30% AMI.
Okay.
So affordable is based on 60% of AMI, which in Kansas City is like $20 an hour. It's like $40,000 a year is what affordable is in Kansas City. So we set aside 3 to 4 units for 30% AMI. So what that does is gives us the opportunity to work with your housing authority. What we see in a lot of communities are that the housing authorities have a wait list. A lot of times the housing authorities' buildings aren't conducive for universal design for all residents. And so it gives us an opportunity to kind of work with them on some transition type of situations that maybe they're on a wait list, but this would be better suited for them. And it gives us that ability to help finance that without it coming out of your vouchers out of the housing authority program. But it would be a very small number of units.
The detention area on the southwest corner, do you anticipate that would have water year-round or just after rainfall events?
You tell me, what do you think that is going to happen?
Well, hard to say, but
yeah, it's clear that there's, it's clear, and so again, this is really, really preliminary. I mean, we will hire civil engineers, and our architect is actually local in Kansas City, and so they work with local civil, mechanical, plumbing engineers. It's pretty obvious that there's some water that runs down through there, and so I definitely think that we need to plan and design for that correctly to hold that. What we don't want to do is disturb that and it all run off and create washout flooding. So that's shown there just as a, we all stood there and said, I think there's going to be some detention here, but I honestly just don't know that answer. I really don't know how much that normally holds or how high that normally gets.
Okay.
I would say, just if I may, most of them in Excelsior Springs are dry detention basins. The only one that I know of is wet is Walmart Pond out in front of it, but most of them are just 24 to 48 hours afterwards, so we drain out slow to pull back and drain out. So.
I hadn't seen water down there when we were nosing around, but it's clear there's a drainage ditch there.
Yeah,
So
when it rains there, so my concern is insects. There's already kind of an insect issue back there, so whatever goes in needs to be something that improves the situation and doesn't make it worse. So.
yeah, I built in Arkansas, and we have this state bug called the mosquito down there, so we will definitely, we're very cognizant of that. But we'll work with several engineers locally to, and again, it'll go through your planning department to where we're getting a sign off prior to that occurring.
Is the green space to the west for additional phase 2? Or?
It would be, so that seller, we tried to parcel that, and that seller was not interested in parceling that, so we did agree to take down the whole piece of land, just based on, after we kind of bounced around with different locations, that we thought that that was a good spot. And so, I mean, I would love to, because once the dollars are spent, they're spent. I'd love to come back and put more apartments there, but I just don't know that that would be appropriate. So we just really need to get it in and then kind of look at, we would only be able to do a 3-story building there. And I don't know if that's exactly what we want that multifamily to look like. So, you know, we know that there's going to be a need for multifamily as Villa starts aging out a couple years from now. I just want a little bit of time to think that through and get more staff and council input on that. But it could support, we've drawn it, and it could support, I think, a 40-unit multi-story, and there would be adequate parking. There's actually a flag lot directly across the street from that, so the entrances would almost line up identically. That is about a 3 or 4 acre lot. That's very valuable. It's very reasonably priced just because it's landlocked. It's behind the fire station. It's kind of an odd. So we had talked about even doing an overflow to balance that out so it wasn't so tight and congested. But I really want to see what that vertical density looks like next to that same single family. But it would support 40 units with parking is what we have it penciled out at. But I'd love to come back and look at doing single family houses around the hospital too. Just throw that out there. For another council meeting another day.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you very much.
City has my information if anybody has any questions, and I'm glad to email that to Melinda to pass on if you guys have any specifics about qualifications or drawings, all of which are preliminary. Put a big draft on the top.
The other thing we'd like you to know is that with our new zoning code, this project actually qualifies as a project that would have to come back through a site development plan. So you would be seeing it one more time as a site development plan to approve. It'd go back to planning and zoning and through, and at that point, we've already talked about what some of those design criteria may be. Any questions for staff?
Okay. A resolution of support for affordable housing by the DHTC Developers, LLC, located at the southeast corner of Highway 69 and Tracy Avenue, Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
I make a motion we approve resolution number 1380, consideration of resolution of support for local housing project.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck, Tammy.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, agenda item number 3 is a resolution approving the purchase of a fire pumper truck and the net amount of $533,750.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. In front of you is an agreement between Feld Fire and the City of Excelsior Springs for the purchase of a 2022 Spartan 2114 pumper. In that agreement, it includes the trade-in of a 1995 Freightliner and a 2007 Ferrara pumper. The agreement is for $533,570. Mayor Pro Tem Spear, to answer your question from Friday's work session, we are not going to exercise that option. It's not financially responsible for us to do that.
Okay.
So we
The
will.
prepayment?
Yeah, the
Okay.
prepay. Yeah, we'll pay for it in full on delivery if you approve it.
Okay.
In your packet is a little bit about Feld Fire. The agreement is in there also. The bid worksheet's in there, some warranty information, and then the resolution. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
No questions? Okay. A resolution approving the purchase of a fire pumper truck in the net amount of $533,750.
I move that we approve resolution number 1381, consideration of a pumper truck purchase.
I enthusiastically second,
Roll call,
having
Shannon.
served on PSST for a while.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck with your truck. Agenda item number 4 is an ordinance adopting a budget for the period of October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, and authorizing the expenditures of funds, all for and in behalf of the City of Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
So presented before you is the combined budget that we've been talking about since July, in parts, and it's now brought all together, and I'm in hopes that it meets your priorities for the year. And there's a budget message that I've included in the agenda as well as before you to take a look at in the ways that it meets your priorities.
Any questions? Okay. An ordinance adopting a budget for the period of October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, and authorizing the expenditures of funds, all for and in behalf of the City of Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
I move we take ordinance number 22-09-06, consideration for budget approval for fiscal year 2023 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. An ordinance adopting a budget for the period of October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, and authorizing the expenditures of funds, all for and in behalf of the City of Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
I move that we approve ordinance number 22-09-06, consideration of budget approval for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
I think she's frozen.
Sonia?
Councilwoman Morgan, Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 5 is an ordinance allowing claims and appropriating to pay the same by issuing checks out of various funds of the city.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appropriations that was presented for your approval is for a 2-week period, including one payroll. Total amount $912,161.78, and that breaks down for week ending 8/31 of $441,977.66. Week ending September 8th, 22, $131,125.50, and payroll on 9/15 of $336,058.62. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, an ordinance allowing claims and appropriations to pay the same by issuing checks out of various funds of the city.
I make a motion we take ordinance number 22-09-07, consideration appropriations to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilwoman Morgan,
Abstain.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. An ordinance allowing claims and appropriating to pay the same by issuing checks out of various funds of the city.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-09-07, consideration of appropriations.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes, abstain.
Councilman Spawn,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to remarks by city manager.
If you all would check your calendar, we're trying to schedule a retreat. I was going to say during October, but the date we picked was November 4th. So it's just outside of. And you can let me know after the meeting if that looks like that would be a date to follow our regular morning meeting. And then just hopefully you've seen the daily pictures from the swimming pool construction. It's kind of fun to watch those. And the activity at the pond. And it looks like a gucky mess. And then we're progressing here at the Hall of Waters. So that's it.
Okay. Stephen?
We have our photojournalists in town, so anyone in the community that sees them, be sure to welcome them. It's going to be interesting and very great dialogue, seeing what all stories they come up with and seeing their photos. So
Yeah, I think
had a
that'll be
great
interesting.
meet and greet at Four Horses Sunday.
Yeah,
Good.
it was fun.
We did. Mark?
I would just tag on to that and encourage everyone to take advantage of the viewing of the photos that they'll be taking at Lewis Elementary from 10 to 2 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. It'll be interesting to see what they captured through the lens of their cameras and what storylines they've developed along with those photos.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Okay, Sonia?
No, thank you, Sharon, nothing this evening.
Okay. Well, I will tell a little story today. We were having one of our Thrive meetings, and Tina Cook from the hospital said that she had a rep from that was there trying to sell her something, that was staying at the Elms Hotel over the weekend, and she told Tina, "This is the friendliest town I have ever seen. It's just like Mayberry." So I just keep up the good work and stay friendly, everyone. And the DEP dinner was Thursday night, and that was a tremendous
It was fun.
success. And starting the fundraising to build a patio down here on Broadway, that's going to be a great addition to our downtown. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right, we are adjourned.
All right. Throw that budget around.
And it's a short one tonight.
Yeah, this done.